Hi, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode two of Helping Preparing for Interviews or Mastering Job Interviews. Let's give everybody quick 15 seconds and then we can start. Okay. Okay. I think we should start. Let's quickly start. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining this episode two. In this episode or in this webinar, we are going to talk about a very critical requirement in interviews, right? How to
Yes,
handle behavioral questions. Now, every interview that you go now, you will be asked some behavioral questions and you will be asked to answer them. To be honest, that's the most difficult part of handling any interviews. So let's through the for the next 30 minutes, let's look at what are behavioral questions, what are the common types of questions that interviewers ask, how to handle them, and then in the end we will also give a quick demo like last week on we will try to get a person to do a quick demo. And
yes,
my name is Gokul. I'm the founder of Recruit. I'm joined by Suji, who is the co-founder. So we are going to present this webinar, and feel free to stop us, ask any questions in the middle. This webinar will probably take around 20-25 minutes, and then we will continue to have another session next week. Okay, cool.
yes.
Over to you, Suji.
Yes, thank you so much, Gokul. And so you all know, like I'm Suji Gokul, the co-founder of like Recruit. And today we are doing a podcast series for candidates. And last week we discussed about the questions which come in the interview and how we'll be answering. So we took only one part, that is like just introduce yourself. But this week we have taken one more round, that is mastering your behavioral question. And you all know, uh, even a fresher or a experienced, a technical or a non-technical, for any role, you have this question where the HR will put you under a pressure, like asking about your past experience and like what you have worked on before. So they'll give you a situation, and they will assess you on your behavior, how you have started and what is that area you have completed. So today we are going to talk about behavioral questions. Let's start. Okay, so here we are. And the reason why we ask behavioral question, or to know what is behavioral question, it is how you act in real situation. They throw a question at you, like for example, can you just give me an example of your previous reference, or put a situation where you have to take the question and just give the answer with your own experience. So they will focus on how much of teamwork, the pressure you handle, the conflict, your leadership quality and ownership. See, usually what happens when they throw a behavioral question at you, that is when they'll see how you talk and how you handle pressure. That is basically to see how you answer that. And so usually the question starts like, tell me about a time like when you had faced a situation, or give an example of a situation where you have handled it. Like for example, I'll tell you, so if it's a customer service role, if it's a customer service role, and what basically they just test you on your resume, the, your past behavior will predict how your future behavior will be. That is the basic reason why they ask you behavioral question. Like for example, so if you work for a customer service role, they'll ask you a question something like this. Did you had a time so where you have handled a customer, and for example, hired customer who's not happy with your service? Now this is your turn to answer them. So the more and more the clear and specify you answer, and that's when they know how you have handled a customer in your past, and that will also predict in your future behavior. So this is a very important question for any interview. So you have to prepare for this question. Now this seminar is going to talk about how questions will be and how you have to react to it. Why that matters? Now you tell me, why this question matters a lot in the interview. Many a time, if it's a theory, you have learned the theory and you will answer to the point. If it's a technical coding or any other issue, so you know how to answer that. You would have rehearsed it many times. But behavioral question is something they'll put you under pressure because they want to see how you have solved a problem in your past, and that shows your communication style and the culture from which company you come from, or the culture you developed like from that problem. So what is your takeaway from that problem, and how you have implemented your decision on that. And that is the main reason why that matters to the interviewer. A strong storytelling and instant differentiator. For example, you would have had ample of experience handling different like customers or different issues in your previous company. But if you don't tell that in a story format to an HR, they will not know that what you have done. See, for example, you have done a lot of work, like you have handled high rate customer, and so given a solution to them, and they're very happy about it, and they also gave you a good rating for that. But instead of telling in a structured format, if you talk like this, there was a customer and whom I've attended, and they were very angry initially, but then after I spoke to them, they are good about it, and they gave me a good rating. And if you talk about this way, the HRs or the hiring manager cannot understand what you're telling. So, for everything, there is a structure, there is a format, what you have to convey. The more and more you just communicate to them in a story format, that is a catching point for any HR or the hiring manager. So, if you give them a strong note of how you handle the situation, that will be ahead of no, so you'll be ahead of almost 80% of the candidates. In my experience, I will tell, there was one candidate. He was very good. He was very good, but the problem is he could not communicate properly to us. So when we asked him about a situation, and similarly, he told there was a bug in the project what he worked, but how did he resolve the bug, he was not able to explain to us. So because of that one reason, he lost a chance. So then I've noticed, because of his communication skill, or he could not structure the format, and that's when we had a problem. But we have a quick suggestion for that. That is the star method. So have you heard about the star method? That's quite common, and I'll tell you how to use that. The first thing is situation. When any question is thrown at you, the simple thing, you have to create a story for that. Give a situation, and what is that your response, like what is the task is for you. Like for example, if it's a customer service role, the customer is really angry on you. This is situation. Now how will you respond? The first thing what a candidate will tell is, the first thing he will tell is, yes, apologies for what happened, and now I will look into it. Then you do action. So you take action, you will look into the problem, and you see what exactly happened, and then you will resolve the issue. See, only the task is complete when you resolve the issue. You cannot say, okay, I acknowledge this problem, it happened, I'm sorry, and I can't do anything about it. So you would have seen this in our customer service, right? Many times when we call to our, for example, our customer service like Airtel or Vodafone, they acknowledge the issue. They will acknowledge us, saying that yes, we have this problem, but they never give solution to it. If that is the case, we're not very happy with that particular customer service. But in some cases, the customers have to be really happy. So what happens is you have to close it with the result. What result you have provided, and what was the outcome from that, and what was the customer feedback on that. So I'm telling a customer service role, but the same applies to a technical role as well.
So,
Uh,
Suji, can we stop here and take questions?
sure. So do you have any questions?
Okay, there is a question around: is it relevant for freshers? Yes, it is also relevant for freshers, but I think it's in a different angle. For experienced folks, you are expected to answer from your experience, right? Now, for freshers or grads, it might not be, you might not have experience, so the expectation is you answer from your knowledge of the scenario, or you can also talk about the project that you did in college or the situation that you faced in college, right? So yes, it is very much relevant in the for colleges or freshers. It's a little different, uh, considering that you will be asked to respond to scenarios and situations. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay. Thanks, Gokul, for answering that question. And so, next, the common behavioral question, the most common ones, what I have taken here, that is a time you handle pressure. This is commonly asked for any role. So because the companies will have deadlines, and like you will be having a pressure, and how would you solve that? And see, in this case, usually what happens if you work for a development, for IT, I'm telling. So, so you have done a project, you have developed everything, and the time of testing it, and if they get any of the bug, and there's a high pressure. So now you should answer using a star method. How did you find the bug, and how did you resolve it, and how it was completed? And for different roles, they might ask a conflict like you resolved. Like if you're in a management team, and they will surely ask you a question, what kind of conflict has come? Please explain a conflict what you have resolved in your past job. So this is a common question. And or something, they'll ask a mistake you learned from your previous previous mistakes, or a previous company, or any project you have done, and what is the mistake you have made, and how did you learn from that, and what are the biggest challenges you resolved. So usually what happens is these are a different type of questions they ask, but it all comes the same meaning, that will judge you and your behavior for that situation. How did you handle?
Okay.
Simple
So
as that.
yeah, let's quickly before we move on, let's quickly get let's do a demo. Let's bring
Yep.
in Rohit and do a demo. Rohit, can you share your turn on your video? Great, mate. So Rohit is one of us. Like last week, he's our guinea pig. So when we're going to ask a question to him. In the first instance, he's going to answer in a wrong way or in a normal way that everybody answers. And then in the second instance, he is going to talk in a star method. Okay. Cool. Suji, yeah, please ask.
Okay. Hey, hi Rohit. Welcome to our podcast. And how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay. So Rohit, give me a scenario, or just so what is the biggest challenge you solved in your previous organization, and how did that help with the company's success or growth or sales?
In my previous company, I have created a website with good designs, so they can improve their sales from that pages itself.
Okay.
Good, mate. Now, can
Okay.
you can you can you use the star method? Let's do it using the star method now.
Yes.
Yeah. In my previous company, we have launched a search filter feature that was considered a very important to users. But the users only 10% of users only used the feature. I reviewed the design and worked on the design. From learned that one, there is a the icon is not visible for every user, so I redesigned it and redesigned the icon, and it is more visible for users, so that once I relaunched the icon, it will going to 47 percentage of increased from the user's perspective. So it will be helpful for the users as well as the uh, our company. Yeah.
Cool. That's good, mate. Thank you. I think that,
Thank
I
you.
mean, the difference is obvious, right? In the first instance, it was very common when what Rohit spoke was not, there was no stats. He did not
Yes.
explain what the scenario was. He did not explain the action. In the subsequent response, where he used the star method, the situation was very clear, right? And then the what Rohit did was also very clear, and then the action was also clear, and then he also summed it up using some stats like 47 percentage increase and so forth. which added a lot of value. I think that gives a lot of confidence structure, as Suji mentioned. The difference is very clear. Rohit, do you want to share any experience of using behavioral questions, or have you used star method before?
I have. I didn't use the star method before, but after that, once I know this star method, I'm using this one in the interviews. So it will helpful for me to for my growth.
Cool. Thank you, mate. Yeah, Suji, over to you.
Thank you, Rohit, for that,
Thank you.
and thank you, Gokul, for like explaining about the star method. And okay, so like here is a scenario. Though we work on a star method, so we also have to be quick, right? Because the interview will be only for like what 30 to 40 minutes. So within that, like now you have to impress with your first question, like like tell about yourself. The second, if they ask a behavioral question, then you have to set the scene in one line. So your action in like, just in bullet points, not to take a long time to explain exactly how the scenario was there, how to do everything. Just take 2 to 3 bullet points and explain in a star method, because star method is easy to understand. First they will know what is the problem, and they'll say what is your task for that and what action you have taken and what was the result, right? And that will give a detailed picture about it. Like, see, now we have seen Rohit discussion, but Rohit clearly told with the data. That's why even company will like.
Cool.
Okay, so now so do you have any questions now? Okay, so like now, say now we have, yeah, Gokul.
No, there are no questions.
Okay, fine. So now what we will give you is practice at recruit.io. So because like we might give a star method how it works, but when you practice by yourself, you will know the different scenarios, because the scenario, the questions what we gave is like just 5 to 6, but mostly like every HRs are different, so you'll have ample of like questions. So you have to practice thoroughly before attending an interview. To experience that, you can practice at recruit.io, because this space will give you a real feedback. So the AI will not judge you, but the AI will give you what exactly you spoke and how you can improve yourself. So even if you're fresher or if you have experience or a technical or non-technical, anybody can use this platform, and that will surely going to help you to ace your interview.
Cool. Thank you, guys. I think we have come to the end of the webinar. Well, this was just an introduction, a quick 20-25 minute introduction about behavioral interviews. In the next session, let's revisit the same topic. Next time we are not going to talk. This was too much of talking, but next time we are not going to
Yes.
talk. We are going to come up with questions, and we are going to come up with few people to help them ask the question and help them answer, and then correct them. Right? See how that goes. So let's chat next week and then see how that goes. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else, Suji?
Thank you so much for joining this. And like I hope you've just at least understood about the star method and how the behavioral question are. And thank you so much for joining this. And please do practice at recruit.io.
Thank you.
Thank you.